up, OG gang? What's going on? What's happening with you guys today? We're back for a second episode, part two. Part two of Friends Advice. But this episode today is called Potentially Toxic Friends, part two. And I think I'm gonna finish up um with the friends today. So I need you guys to just, tune in and just go with the ride with me. So yeah, what's up, OGs? Come on in, settle down. Let's get comfy. All right. So the first potentially toxic friend that I want to talk about, or that we're speaking about today, we're just gonna jump right in with this one. The user. Okay. So most of these, well, all of these are gonna be my personal experience. So these are friends that I have either in my past when I was young, to this day. These are my personal experiences with these types of friends, and these are not to bash anyone. You understand? This is not to bash anyone. This is not to bring people down or anything like that. Basically, if I haven't said it before, my channel, in the cup with OGX, uh, my channel is all about inspiration, advice, uh, love, and just kind of it's enlightening into the journeys that I've been through in life, and I feel that I want to share it like a testimony to the world. I will be also having guest speakers and stuff like that on this show that have been through multiple different things and certain things that I'll be talking about, certain topics. I'll have special guests on her to help me talk about those topics. So that's all this platform of mine is really about. It's just kind of giving back to the world for everyone that's helped me, everyone that showed me love and supported me. So this is my way of doing it. So I'm just hoping you guys, you love it, you like it, and you share it. Subscribe always, and comment. Like I say, talk to me, I talk back. All right. Before I get started with the user, I just want to say today's episode is brought to you or sponsored by my shirt right here. My boy Samuel, Mr. Samuel Henry. That's a good friend of mine. He got this T-shirt made. I don't know if you can see it all. He got this T-shirt made down in Jamaica when he was on vacation, visiting his homeland, and I thought it was just so heartfelt, and I cried when I got it and I opened it on my birthday. He didn't see me; I was home by myself with my wife, but I love it. I've never had a friend to really engage that much into a gift. As a friend, you know you expect something like that from a family member, but it just really felt really, it was very heartfelt and very nice. He also gave me one of the many gifts. It's not all of them, but I'm gonna just show you this here. This is my happy birthday because it was for my birthday. It's just some different pictures of me that I sent him, and he got it all painted and pinned on this beautiful, beautiful thermos here. It's so high quality, and it's just, oh, I love it. And it's my water bottle, and that's me on the back. Blessed beyond measure. Okay, he ain't lying. All right. So yeah, I'm just take a sip and get my throat back. Mm, right. Yeah, love you, Sammy. One love, my brother. All right. So the user, the user. All right. And I say potentially toxic friends. Okay. So they might not be totally toxic, but for the user, I feel in my personal experiences, this type of friend, they come around when they need something. You know what I mean? Like most of the time with this friend, it's the material things, like money, transportation, sometimes even a place to stay, food, anything like that. And because I'm the caring type friend, I don't mind doing those things. You understand? But I don't mind doing those things if I know that you're gonna be genuine and keep it real, keep it 100 with me at the end of the day. I don't want to find out that I've been doing this from the kindness of my heart because what I just thought we what cool. You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking like, yeah, this is my bra, this is my brethren. So we're just doing this just because, I'm not gonna sit there and eat or drink or whatever. We're sitting there, might have a couple birds or whatnot, and I'm just gonna be like, yeah, well, yeah. That's not me. I'm not that type of friend. So anyway, these types of friends will come around and, I would do all of that. But then when it's time for them to maybe share, or maybe I'm a little low on funds, or maybe I need a ride somewhere, or food or anything, it's just like you can't depend on those types of people. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter. And they necessarily don't have to be in a bad situation, because the user's not always necessarily friend that his like the friend that's down on his luck, that doesn't really have a lot of money, or doesn't have a ride, or doesn't have, much to offer when it comes to materialistic things. Because I've encountered more than one friend that has been a user, that one has been pretty much on the what I just described, and then there's been a one who, why spend mine when I could spend yours? And he got money, but he would rather use you. And then when you don't want to give no more, it's like, oh, I'll check you later. You know what I mean? Like his not around, he's not really there, and unless it's involved in something you giving him, then it's like, oh, I'm all for it. That to me is a potential toxic friend, just for the simple fact of that it's a one-sided friendship, and you're too amazing and you're too good to sell yourself short like that, to let people use you to the point where they don't even respect you or really care about you or love you that much, as a human being, that they can't even return the favor. And it don't have to be in the form of money that you gave them, or a ride, or food. It could be just something as simple as a card, to just show the appreciation. So I think number one, potentially toxic friend is going to be the user. And I've had enough of those in my life to know that where I am in my life right now, in my adult life, I don't need nobody in my circle with that kind of energy. You know what I mean? It's all up from her. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for still helping people. But when those types of people come into my life, I had to learn to help from a distance. You understand? Like before, I used to bring them right into my circle. I mean, that's how I was getting abused and used. But when you get mature and you learn and you listen to OG's advice, you know, that's when you can say, no, okay, I can still love this person from a distance. I can still show my support. I can still pray for that person. You don't have to have them all in your pocket, because they're not a type of friend that right now in their life that knows how to treat another person that's good to them. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's number one, guys. That's number one. That's what I have for the user. All right, so number two, dos, potentially toxic friend is the emotional wreck. Now, this one, this one right here was I had a little bit of it. I had a little bit of it. Um, let's put me on the chopping block first before we get into uh the friends that I've had that's been in the emotional rack. What I mean by emotional rack, they're just emotionally draining. Like, okay, when I was younger, um, I was very more of I'm a sensitive guy. Yeah. I was, because I'm heartfelt and caring, and all the emotions, and I love you guys, man. I'm that friend. I'm not that friend, but I'm that, that's me. I care, I show my love. So when I was younger, I didn't know how to control that. I didn't know how to harness it, when to show it, when too much was too much, when too little was too little. I had to just learn how to shook and jive and just figure out what's a perfect balance, or a perfect balance for me. When I say perfect, meaning a good balance, what works for me. And That's what I had to figure out. And I figured that out because I feel that in past relationships and friendships, I was very emotionally draining, which means I could put things on my friends or my loved ones that were like just overwhelming in emotion. And it was kind of like, oh my God, here comes Josh. Like, oh, like, what is he calling me about now? It's probably some drama, or it's probably something that somebody done looked at him wrong or said something to him wrong, and he didn't know how to take it. And so, his hurt to vent or to pour out his. And it got to that point, like, and the real ones, they kept it real with me and told me, like, look, this is a bit much. You keep dumping in my backyard, you got to pull it together at some point. And I really had to take a good look at myself, and I switched it around and know how to now, harness that and control my emotions a lot better than I was. I'm still a sensitive guy, but at the same time, I feel with my progress and with a lot of people around me, they feel the same way, that I have that progressed. So to say that the emotional wreck being a potentially toxic friend, I definitely concur with that because of the fact that I was an emotional wreck friend when I was younger. I want to say teenager stage, early 20s, something like that. Yeah, so this is just someone to kind of just look out for. Like, you can be their friend. I feel like you can keep this person in your pocket, and but at the same time, if they're real with you and they're a good person and you guys are cool and you got that relationship, or because it's a girl, whoever, and you can be honest with that person, I think that's the best thing to do. Because, well, with me, I love honesty. Tell me the truth. You know what I mean? I don't like people to lie to me and try to save my feelings. I don't like that. I want you to be straight up and be honest with me. So with this one, if you guys or girls have that relationship with the emotional wreck, where you can talk to them and just let them know on one, like, look, listen, this hurt what you're constantly doing. It's not good for our friendship. And what I mean, what they're constantly doing, because I haven't really talked about it too much yet, right? The emotional wreck is emotionally draining. So, for instance, um, like I said, they always got some mess going on. They always got, like, they take things to heart too much. Like they would take stuff to heart, whether it's what's going on in the relationship, what's going on in their family life, what's going on with their child, what's going on with people at work, what's going on just in their own head and their own struggle in life. Like, it could be finances, it could be anything like that, man. It could be anything like that. And yes, you feel for people that are going through like that, but most people are in the same boat. But not everybody is ripping their hair out because of it. You know what I mean? So these people that are emotional wreck, I mean, they really pour it on thick, man. When they come at you as a friend, they pour it on thick, meaning they come and they most of the time they're crying, they're a crying mess when they're talking to you. They're always got their head down, they look insecure. They're very, like, just kind of defeated. It's a defeated vibe and energy that you get from these emotional rack friends. And they every time you see them or they call you, you just want to run the opposite direction, because right now, especially when you're up, you don't want, you see this person coming, you do not want them, because to ruin your mood, to pull you, because they will pull the energy out of you. They just pull it and just pull it. And you're just standing there like, I came to work today. I came over her house today. I came to this function today to be a happy day, to be an joyous occasion. And they just want to steal your joy, and they drain you, and every time you offer advice, that's the biggest thing which makes them toxic. There's just levels to this. The biggest thing that makes them toxic about the emotional rack friend is the fact that when you offer them advice, or when you are trying to talk to them and try to give them a way out, because they feel like they're the only ones that's ever been through this, or they're the only ones that's been in this situation, which is a whole lie. Most of the times, in my situation, I've been there where the friends been there. You understand? So I'm trying to offer advice, like, this is how I did it. That's how I did it. and they shun you away, or they push you away, or they don't take it. And then they want to be hopeless. You know what I mean? They want to be the friend, or they want to keep that energy like, no, there's no way out for me. You know, there's no hope for me. You go on and live your life and be happy. You know, there's no hope for me. I'm just gonna die an old man in his bed with my 10 cats. So this is what the type of people, which is the emotional rack friend, makes them extremely toxic, because there's no helping them. And you can't help people that don't want to help themselves, right? So yeah, that's number two, guys. Like I said in the beginning, you can help out. You can, you is no don't shun these people away if they're in your circle, or you meet people like this along the way in your life. But you just have to recognize, like back in the first video with the friends advice, the first step, knowing yourself. Know yourself first. And a lot of times knowing yourself first, it just makes it that simpler, or the battle that much easier. You know what I mean? The ride. All right, that was number two, guys. All right, moving on to number three. Tres. Number three. All right. Number three potentially toxic friend is, to me, the most toxic friend on this list. We have one more. You're not gonna know yet. We have one more. And this one, I feel, looking at it, experiencing it, it's the worst toxic friend to me. It's the worst, it's the worst toxic friend for me. All right, so number three toxic friend is the frenemy. I'm gonna tell you a little story about the frenemies, and it's a personal story to me. It involves me, and it involves other people. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what the frenemy is, and then I'm gonna go into a quick little story with you. All right. So the frenemy to me is pretty much, y'all already know, pretty much acts like a friend but is your enemy. Yeah. So when I say that it acts like a friend but is your enemy, that's the type of person that smiles in your face, talks behind your back. Everyone's heard that cliche saying, right? You try to, you confide in them and you tell them, and then it gets out there, and maybe you don't like that person, and then it gets back to that person, and that's coming to you, approaching you, and you're thinking, well, how the heck did it get back to your person? I told my best friend or my good friend, right? Which is why they say keep your enemies close, but keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. That's where that saying comes from with this as well. So they're just a type of person that is so toxic that, for whatever motive that they have to want to ruin your life or ruin your day or ruin your relationship, your friendship, or whatever it is, it can be multiple different reasons. Sometimes they could just be a negative, cruel, and unkind person, man. It's not always a great excuse or explanation for what they're doing or why they do it. It could be because they want the person that you're with. They might like that person, and they feel that you're not adequate enough to be with this person, and that they can offer them more. And instead of finding their own mate, they want to pursue what you got. So they do all kinds of things behind your back to bring you down to the person that you're with, so that they could make themselves somehow, look better. Or when you're going, they can jump in and be like, hey, what's up, boo? So it's a lot of different reasons why this frenemy person is in your life, or that they do the things for what they do. Okay, so let's get into a quick story. Um, when I was married the first time, um, yes, I'm married twice. When I was married the first time, I had a friend. I'm gonna call him Billy, and me and Billy was cool. We hooked up through another mutual friend that was my friend and Billy's friend, right? And let's call the mutual friend, let's call him Jack. Okay. So Jack was my boy at first, and we used to kick it, go out clubbing, sit off and stuff like that. And he came around, met my family, my wife, and stuff like that. And it's cool. Me and Jack never had no problems, right? Um, then he introduced me to Billy. And Billy, I was like, all right, cool. He's a cool dude, Still is a little bit more on the quieter side. He wasn't as lively as me and Jack, but like he was just a cool guy, right? At first, I was like, yeah, this guy's pretty cool. So he started kicking it with us too, going clubbing. We had a whole little posse going, right? So we began to get a lot closer, me and Billy, because of the fact that not to Don Jack, but Jack was a little bit too wild for me, like as far as his behavior. He liked to get into fights when we would go out. He had a lot of drama in his life, like with his girlfriends, multiple, and it was always some baby mama drama with him or the baby daddy, and he toxic. He became increasingly toxic, so we kind of dwindled off. Still cool, but I just didn't really kick it with him and so much. So me and Billy started to be real cool, right? Got to be real good friends. Met his mom, brothers, kick it over his house. Used to kick it over my house. He met my wife, my kids, and my in-laws and my family, my mom, my dad, everybody, right? Real good friends for years. I mean, like over 10, 12 years we had been friends. And so long story short, I'm not gonna get too. It's supposed to be a short story. So the logistics of it, right? Billy, used to do some things that I did not approve of. I didn't like doing. Now, I was a married man. I'm still a married man, but at the time I was a married man, and you know, I would have little things like little rules, like because he was single, he always wanted to kick. He just pop over and yeah, man, I'm got a bottle which rum, whatever. He just wanted to be just kicking y'all. We're coming over. I'm a married man. I have two kids that I have. Well, my daughter and my stepson at the time, and it was like, brah, I have a family. You gotta shoot me a little text, give me a call. Don't just pop by. You know what I'm saying? And I used to tell him like, look, well, cool, but I have boundaries and I have rules and standards, man. I don't just this wild guy that's I'm a married man. Y'all get it, okay? So told him that. Had to tell him that a couple times, then a couple more times. And I'm figuring, like, okay, this guy's not really getting it through his head that you can't just pop by like this on a lot of occasions. Sometimes me and my wife at the time, we was making love and his banging at the door, hollering through the window and stuff. And I'm just like, bruh, a couple times I ignored him too. I like we weren't home. The whole car and bike was in the yard too, but I weren't having it. But like he was just becoming a little clingy and a little too just it was too much. And then I noticed some things like because we where was we like yes I noticed some things that he would like because he knew where my wife worked. She worked with her mom at her job, and so he would go to her or be like talking or whatever and just like small talk as far as like oh hey, what's happening? Just pop by to say hey, what you guys are doing later, and all that stuff like that. So I'm like, as soon as he left, wife calls me, just like, why is your friend coming around her asking what's going on later and all this stuff like that. So she used to tell me everything, right? Every time he would like pop by or something like that, something. So at first I thought he was trying to like maybe get my wife or something like that because he started to, do stuff like that, and I was just like, you know, she assured me it was not like that. It was not her. He was not her cup of tea. All that type of stuff. All right. So it got to the point where I would be confiding to him on bro time. Being emotional. I needed to get away, get out the house for a little bit. Me and wife, have a little beer, drink, sit off somewhere, uh, and just rap. I want to talk to my boy. I need a vet. I just want to, she don't understand this, that, that. Maybe I was a little wrong. I was a married man talking to my single brethren about a marital problem. Maybe I was wrong for that. And I take full responsibility for that. But at the same time, what he would do now is would go back to my wife then and tell her the things what I did not like and the things that I was venting. So no, that caused a huge problem in the marriage because now it's just like, oh, you're telling your friends stuff, number one, what goes on in this house. Two, some of the stuff that I'm venting, whatever, it's not in the most prettiest way. So how will you went back and said it to her? You know, so now she might be feeling some type of way. So then that caused a little rift between me and the wife and stuff like that. And it just kind of like went on and whatnot like that to the point where she didn't like him. She didn't want him to come around the house. She didn't even want me hanging out with him, right? And I gave him, because I'm the caring person, I'm the nice friend and all that, right? So I didn't just write him off, poof, one time, okay? Remember, I was still young. I was in my early 20s. I didn't know a whole lot then. So I was still his friend, right? Told him about himself, though. Mad at him, vexed at him, but we were still friends. Friends are not perfect. They mess up sometimes, yeah? But long story short, it came to a halt because of the fact that he just would not stop with it. You know what I mean? Like it was other things. Like if it wasn't the wife, it was like my other brethren. He would say, and it's like, bro, I told you that in confidence. What is happening here? So yeah, that's the frenemy. I think the frenemy is like you say it. They have an ulterior motive that sometimes you don't even know what it is. That they try to do little things here and there. It could be little things like with my story, or it could be really big things to sabotage your relationship or your friendship with somebody else. So really watch out for those people because these people will probably be sometimes your best friend. That's the why it's such the most toxic one on this list because of the fact that it's probably your best friend or it could be potentially your best friend. So guys, really pay attention and look out for people like that because trust me, I take it from my experience, you do not need anybody in your life that's gonna try to pull you down when you're trying to build yourself up. When you're trying to get your union straight and stronger. You don't need nobody that's not in your corner that's acting like they are and bringing you down or bringing that negative energy. Life is hard enough as it is. Marriage is hard enough as it is. You don't need help. Okay? So that's number 4, y'all, and that's the biggest toxic friend out of this list. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Last one, cuatro, 4, the control freak. The last potential toxic friend is the control freak. Now, for this one, right? It is. It was a relationship. It was a girl. Okay, her name was Sarah, and I was in a brief relationship with her. When I say brief, I want to say 2 years or so. Like I call that brief because I have long relationships and marriages. So marriage, marriage.
Hello, hi.
The control, the control freak.
It's not me, by the way.
The control freak, right?
God, shade.
So, um, this also is can be a friend. Don't get me wrong. This also can be a friend. But for this, I'm gonna tell you a quick story about Sarah and being a control freak. When I was with her, at first it was great. This type of person, these types of girls or guys, this type of girl, she was very in the beginning was cool. It was great. We clicked, we vibed, we got along, we had things in common. It was like, okay, okay, this she's cool. I'm feeling her, all this. And, all of a sudden it starts to, where you meet the parents and you get she meets your parents and y'all go out and different things and it starts to get to a point where she's kind of like noticing she wants to change things about you. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, you met me like this. Right? You met me like, when I mean like this, I'm gonna use some brief examples. It's like my hair. Okay. coming up from young, from a teenager, I was always hermetized. That's what I like to call it. I was hermetized. Like I had fascination with long hair, colors in my hair, braids, locks, plaits, afros, wavy hair, straight hair, colors, red, greens, blues, all kinds of stuff like that. Funky little cuts were shaved on the side. I'm got my hair, man buns, which is what I'm got now. Hair extensions, which is what I have now, which is what I wear now. So like stuff like that, and she met me like that and loved it. In the beginning, it was like, oh, that's Bud. I like a guy that's different, has his own style, his own creativity, right? But then when it went on, you're trying to tame it down. Oh, you should cut your hair. Oh, I don't like the color in your hair. I don't like you bleaching your hair. All this stuff like that. Then it was like my clothes because I didn't have too much of a fashion sense when I was a lot younger in my days as I do now. So I would wear stuff that just made me feel comfortable. Like I would just have these old raggedy tracksuit pants that I had from God knows how long. They might have had holes in it and little stains and stuff on it and stuff like that. Just a t-shirt and some raggedy old sneakers or some slippers. And as long as I felt comfortable, I was good. But the problem was I would go to the shop like that. I would go if I had to run an errand in town. And she was a very high maintenance girl, Sarah is. So like she was kind of like, oh, this is not gonna fly. This is not gonna fly at all. So, just little things like that. She started to kind of like manipulate and control. I was young, and yes, I was a little wit and things like that. I was easily swayed. So remember, I was a sensitive guy. So I was easily swayed. All she had to do was, put a little something, something on me, and I would comply. Because I was into her like that. So when it comes to that, I know you guys probably saying like, well, Josh, that's like minor things like your hair, your clothes. Come on, you probably looked a mess anyway and needed to put on something decent because I know how you Bermudians stay going on like you're going to the bloody well Grammy Awards, right? And you're only going to buy a CD or something. But I've never been that type of person. Anyway, it just got to the point where the manipulation, and that's the most toxic part of the control freak, is the manipulation in this frame, because it got to a point whereas you now were saw what you can do now with what you had between your legs with me, because I was gullible and easily taken. I wasn't experienced. I didn't know much. I was just whipped, and I was whatever you said, I'll do. And so it started with minor things like that, but then it escalated to things like I became the sole breadwinner for the house. And it's like, hold on, but you have a kid, and then we're planning on making a kid, or we had a kid. And then it's like, how come I'm the only one who's working and trying to like, pull this income in and make this work and make that work? And it went on to things like that and financial things that got really bad. It got really bad really fast because you're talking about livelihood now. This is not a hair change where I could chop it off or dye it black. This is not a shirt or pants I could just throw off and throw on something new. You know what I mean? So it got to levels that the manipulation just went so far. It was like, well, let's see how far I can go or how much I can get and push this person to the limit, to whereas that they can get me to behave and do and think what they want to do, like a robot. So you become, if you let these people, that you will become their own personal lackey, to have them to have you do whatever they want you to do because they love control, they crave it, and it's a part of their fiber, their very being, that they feel in their heads that they have to control every situation they're in, everyone they're around or with, or everything like that. So these people can be very dangerous. I still don't rate them number one though, because frenemies, huh, frenemies are really they're really something. But control freaks, they have their levels. They have the levels, yo. But yeah, like I said, guys, this is just a potential toxic friend to look out for. Take it from me, it's not a nice ride. It's not that nice to have people in your space like that. Like I said, all of these friends, to top it off, because I'm about to leave. I'm about to head up. I'm about to head up. All of these people are on these lists, and in the first one, part one and part two, it's never meant, like I say all the time, it's never meant to bash them as people, as individuals. They are human beings, and you are human first. And God knows I love all of you. I love humans. That's one of my biggest things. And it's not to bring anyone down. It's just simply, guys, to just make you aware of people that are out there and the types of signs to look for people that can be potentially toxic to your life. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So this is not to say go now when you're searching your friends and kind of like cut people off because OG told you to cut you off because you're a user. You know, I don't want to stir up nothing like that. This is just I just hope you guys take positivity from these things that I do, because that's what I'm bringing when I'm talking to you is positivity. I'm bringing good energy, good vibes, and just a genuine love and spirit. I just want all you guys to just, to eat it up. Talk to me. I talk back. All right. So this is going to be it for friends, guys. This was part two, and that was it for friends, period. Okay.
Period.
So yeah, I really hope I taught somebody something, enlightened somebody on something, or, you know, made somebody aware of something in a positive way. You guys go about this, take this advice, and teach others. Like I said, like, share, and subscribe this video. Subscribe my first video. You guys stay tuned because a lot more is in store, and keep coming. My door's always open. Y'all know this. If you don't, you know now. Alright?
Wait, but
So,
call first.
but yeah, but call first. Right? Because you don't want to be that frenemy now. You don't want to be that friend. We put you in the frenemies zone. Unbelievable. All right, family. It's been real. Always a pleasure. And thanks for stopping by. Until next time, blessings. And remember, you've been in the cut with OG Ush. Have a good one, y'all.